All right, family, welcome back to the channel. So let's get right into this video. Let's talk about why people seem to get triggered around you, right? So basically, the way that you are, you have a good spirit, you have the spirit of God in you. You're a person who has a lot of love, right? You just have a lot of love. You never have malicious intent with people. You're always self-developing, right? You're always kind of reaching to get better at everything that you do, get a better life, get better health. Get better in all aspects, right? You're a person who's always seeking to improve. And because you do these things, because you always seek to be better, you seek to boost your spiritual life, right? You may be praying, you may be eating correctly, you may be eating natural, you may be, drinking a lot of water, you may be abstaining from all your flesh, pretty much, abstaining from everything, abstaining from sin, going into sin, you're obeying God. You're developing your life. And because you're like this, it triggers people whenever you come around, because whenever you do these things, you have a light to you. You have a bigger light to you. You shine more because you're healthier. You're not going into sin. You're living more righteously. So people are going to see it. People are going to see the God in you, right? And you've probably had people kind of just, like, even people you don't even know, like, they'll try to, like, get under your skin, or, like, they'll say something, or, like, they'll just be, like, really mad around you. Like, you may even, like, greet them, and then they'll be all, like, standoffish and kind of look at you funny. Or, like, you might be, like, talking to somebody that you know, and, like, all of a sudden they start tripping, they start hating on you, they start acting weird, and you're like, what's going on? This all comes from a spiritual thing, right? Because it all comes from your spirit. People see it and they don't know what it is, but because you're like this, you kind of reveal the stuff that they need to work on, right? Whenever they see you, they notice that, like, they feel some type of way. They see the things that you are doing, and then they look at their own life, and then they can see what they're doing wrong, and, like, they hate it, right? Because, like, everyone has pride. Everyone has a little bit of pride, and pride is a sin, and most people don't want to admit that they like what you're doing, or, like, they don't want to admit that they're, like, inspired by you, or they don't want to admit that they think you're better than them or whatever. And that's why people seem to get triggered by you. And this has probably happened throughout multiple times in your life, where, like, you literally don't even look at them that way, right? You might just look at them and you're all graceful because you have a lot of love, right? Because you carry the spirit of God, so you have that love. You see through everything, but you see through it with love and grace. That's how you are, especially if you're obeying God, if you're listening to God. You're going to be a more loving person. So whenever you do talk to people, you've always been, like, a graceful person. Like, even if they're in sin, if they're in a lot of dark things, or, like, the way they act, you still have this grace about you. You still have this, like, forgiveness about you. But whenever they see you, they hate that you're like that, because they want to be like that. And they're afraid to admit it, but that's the reason why people get triggered. And that's only, like, one reason. There could be many different reasons why they get triggered. But because you're this type of person, because, you're chosen, you have spiritual gifts, you have a purpose that you need to fulfill, you have a dream, you have ambitions and everything. Because you're like this, it shows through who you are. Because people can see that you're someone that's different, right? And whenever the wrong people are around you, they see it and they get mad. They try to put you down. They want to drag you down to their level. Or, like, they want to kind of get you, like, confused, or put doubt in your head, or kind of try to, like, shake you up a little bit, right? And before you knew, like, what the reason was, you might have been like, is there something, like, weird about me? And it's not about you at all. Well, it's about you, but it's not about you that way. It's about you because you shine. You have a light to you. And you have a light to you because you're chosen, but because you obey God. And that's when you get the truest light. Because once you start obeying God, you turn away from sin. You turn away from nasty and dark things. You turn away from sexual immorality. You turn away from pride. You turn away from hatred. You turn away from every wicked thing, and you start to obey God. And whenever you start to do this, you have a big light about you. And whenever you come around people, they start to get convicted. And when there's people around you that are in sin, they're doing dark things and everything, you expose that, right? You expose that with your presence, because they see it, because you're kind of like this light. They know that you can see them, so this is why they get mad. It comes out of them. The demons come out of them. And this is supposed to happen, because as mad as these people could get, or as triggered as these people could get whenever you're around, they never tell you they get inspired by you, right? They don't want to say that they get inspired because of pride, but you know this is true because you probably had people act like this towards you, but then all of a sudden they're doing what you do. They start copying like little things that you do. Like you may start to do a certain thing, like whatever it is that you're doing that's really good. Like you could be lifting weights, for example. You could be running or something. You could be eating certain foods. You could be wearing certain clothes. You could be praying. You could start doing certain things and everything, and then you'll be around a person, you might tell them these things and they put you down. They're like, oh, that's dumb, oh, that's stupid, I wouldn't do that, why would you do that? The next thing you know, they're copying you, right? This is probably happened to you multiple times, just because someone who's envious about you will never say they're envious about you. They'll never say they're inspired. They'll never say they're envious, they'll never say they're inspired, but you could tell if they're inspired because they start to copy you, right? But because of pride, they don't want to say it, because they think if they say that if they say that they're inspired by you, you're going to kind of look down on them, right? Which is totally false. This is what happens when you think only with the ego. You think everything's about levels. You think everything's only about who's better than each other, right? And the majority of people think through their pride, think through their ego. That's why it would take someone completely self-confident to say, like, yeah, I'm truly inspired by you. Yeah, I want to do what you're doing and everything. But most people will not say that. Most people will kind of get triggered and just like brush you off and say that's dumb or something, and then they'll copy you. But this is why this has been happening to you, and like you've had these weird situations with people, and they'll just kind of like be angry at you. It could be like complete strangers, or like you'll just have weird situations with people where you can't even tell. When you can't even tell like what's really going on, you're like, why is this person acting this way? It's like, what did I do? It's all in your light. When it's nothing to do with like the way you look or what you say. The way you look and what you say and what you wear is only a little bit, but really it's through the spirit. It's the way you make them feel when you come around. And people feel a certain type of way when you come around, and because of pride, they start to view you as like someone that's like better than them or something. So they want to like put you down, or like they get triggered and everything. So this is kind of why people have been triggered by you randomly throughout your whole life. And this could have happened ever since you were a child, because you know, if you're someone who's chosen, you've always been like different. You've always been constantly seeking like the truth about your life. You've always constantly been questioning like everything in your life. And because you've been this way, because you've always had like your own opinion about things, people react a certain way, because people kind of don't like to think differently. They just want to do what's the right thing to do in society, do what they're supposed to do. They don't want to like question anything. But because you are the one who can see through everything, because that's how God made you, right? You've had these different types of views about your life and everything, and if you said them, like, people get triggered because people don't want to admit it. People don't want to say like, hey, you're right about this, because like they'll feel bad about their own life, right? But for you, the truth has to be said. You're someone who probably can't tolerate. You're someone who can't necessarily avoid the truth. You just can't do it. If you're watching this video, I know you can resonate. You're just someone that just can't avoid the truth. You see it completely, and you're like, no, this is what it really is. This is what it really is. I can't just act like it's not, right? And because you like that, you trigger people because you say the truth about things. You're probably a really honest person. You're probably a really intelligent person. You probably know a lot of things, but you've probably been like around your life where you would dim your light, right? And the only reason you would dim your light is because if you shined your light and start acting like truly yourself around people, they would get kind of hurt about it. They would try to put you down. They would kind of try to like lower your energy, right? They'll just say they just won't listen to you, or like they won't they'll want you to be unhappy, right? Because the majority of people really are truly unhappy, and because you have a lie to you, you're constantly you just always have a lie to you. So you can never really truly be completely negative. You can't, because of God, you can't really be that way, and it's impossible. And whenever you've been around people who aren't godly, who are in sin, who think certain types of ways, who have bitterness, who have hatred, you'll start to be yourself and be positive and be charismatic, be someone with a lot of ideas. You'd be around them and they'll try to shut you down way too fast. And that's the reason you've probably had to dim your light, because you go around people, and as soon as you start actually being yourself, when you kind of unmask, right? You kind of unmask yourself and start being your true bright self with high energy, with a lot of ideas, with a lot of intelligence. They'll start trying to put you down and be like, you're like delusional or something, or like they'll tell you like they'll just put you down. You'll notice it because you'll have low energy around these people. And then you go around them, you're like, why am I so tired? It's because these people don't actually listen to you. They don't want to let you talk. Like if you start actually being yourself around these people, they'll start to not let you talk. They'll start to just be negative. They'll start to have, because these people kind of don't really have much dreams. They just kind of live. They live a certain way and they don't really have dreams, because you're a person with dreams, right? That's just how you're created. You have ambitions and everything, and you already know that you want to talk about them to someone, because socializing is good. But you start talking to them about the wrong person, and then they won't listen to you. They kind of just ignore it. They don't even try to say if it's a good or a bad idea, or like they'll be like primarily negative, right? They'll just kind of put you down and kind of like lower your spirit so you don't do it, right? This is why I also say it's really important for you to be around people who are the same way. Be around people who have ambitions. Be around people who have a spiritual life, who could actually connect with you. Because if you're not with people who could connect with you, it's just going to be draining. You're just going to be like, this kind of sucks. Like, this just feels weird. Like, this person doesn't even listen to me. Like, I can't talk about certain things with this person, right? It's gonna be really restricted. And you already know that you're the type of person who seeks to be free. You just seek to be free because you have the Spirit of God, and God is freedom. So you seek to be free. And when you're around certain people, you feel constricted, right? You can't act a certain way, because if you do act a certain way, you'll start to be viewed as like different, and then people will put you in like a certain box and everything, and you can't really fit in any box. It's just not who you are. You're a person who is pretty much universal. Like you could pretty much talk about anything, do anything, connect with like anybody. And a lot of people just want to fit in a certain box and everything, and you're not like that. This is why you've had to dim your light, because you've probably tried to like camouflage yourself or something through different scenarios and everything. It just drained you every time. You've been around certain people and you just get drained because you can't be yourself. You can't be your normal bright self, so you have to lower that. And this is why I always say it's important also to stay alone by yourself, because not only do you feel good alone pretty much all the time, but when you're alone, you start to realize who you actually are. You start to pray. You start to get the ideas back that you've always had. Reawaken that dream that you've always had. And then once you do that, then you find the right people to hang around with, to talk with. Because if you're around the wrong people all the time, the negative people, the Debbie Downers, right? The people who say things are impossible, or like the people that don't listen to you, or the people that think they know everything, and you can start talking and like they think they're smart, and they'll be like, oh, I know that, but they really don't. You're not the type of person, if you're watching this video, you're not the type of person who could really just live a normal life. That's what I'm saying. You're just not that type of person. You're not meant to live a normal life. And you already know this too, because you think way differently than like most people around you. And like, you're like, why do I think this differently? It's because you're created differently. You do have a different purpose to fulfill for something that's for you. And whenever you're around the things that you're not supposed to do, it's going to lower your spirit. You're going to literally feel tired. You're going to feel bored. You're going to feel frustrated and everything. You're like, why does it feel this way? It's because you're not supposed to be in these situations. You're supposed to be somewhere else, right? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment. If you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless you guys.